The champagne fountain cost $50,000. The dress was custom Vera Wang. 500 guests had flown in from around the world. But when billionaire tech CEO Marcus Reynolds walked into the rehearsal dinner at the Plaza Hotel in Manhattan, he had exactly one mission: to call off the wedding that was supposed to happen in less than 24 hours. What he'd discovered that afternoon would shake the foundations of everything he thought he knew about the woman he'd loved for 3 years. And by the time the night was over, the secret would do more than just cancel a wedding. It would change multiple lives forever. Before we dive into this incredible story, drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. Are you Team Bride or Team Groom? And if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button because you won't want to miss how this unfolds. Trust me, this story has more twists than a pretzel factory. Marcus Reynolds wasn't just rich. He was Forbes list private jet, owns an island rich. At 38, he'd built TechVista, a software company that had revolutionized cloud computing. From a garage startup in Palo Alto to a billion-dollar empire. Business Insider called him the golden boy of Silicon Valley. Fortune called him the most eligible bachelor in tech. That is, until he met Olivia Chen 3 years ago at a charity gala in San Francisco. Olivia wasn't like the other women who'd tried to catch Marcus's attention. She wasn't a model or an influencer or a socialite looking for a sugar daddy. She was a pediatric nurse at San Francisco General Hospital, volunteering at the gala to support the Children's Cancer Research Fund. While everyone else was schmoozing and taking selfies with champagne glasses, Olivia was sitting at a table, patiently helping an elderly donor's grandson with his homework. Marcus had approached her, intrigued. Most people are here to see and be seen. You're here doing long division. She'd looked up, and Marcus swore later that something shifted in the universe at that moment. Her eyes were warm, intelligent, with a hint of mischief. Someone has to help this kid with his fractions. Besides, I'm not really a see and be seen kind of person. I can respect that, Marcus had said, sitting down beside her. I'm Marcus. I know who you are, she'd replied simply. You wrote the check that funded the new pediatric wing at our hospital. I work there. So, thank you. That was how it started. No pretense. No games. Just a genuine connection between two people who seemed to live in completely different worlds. Over the next 3 years, Marcus fell harder than he'd ever thought possible. Olivia grounded him. While his life was board meetings and stock prices and private jets, she reminded him what really mattered. She'd bring him to volunteer at soup kitchens. She'd tell him stories about her young patients that made him laugh and cry. She never asked him for anything. Not money, not gifts, not access to his world. That, more than anything, made him certain she was the one. 6 months ago, on a beach in Maui at sunset, Marcus had gotten down on one knee and proposed with a ring that cost more than most people's houses. Olivia had cried genuine tears and said yes. The wedding was planned for November 23rd at the Plaza Hotel in New York City. 500 guests, a Michelin-starred catering menu, entertainment by a Grammy-winning singer who was a personal friend. The wedding alone cost $3 million, but Marcus would have spent $30 million if it meant starting his life with Olivia. Everything was perfect. Until the morning of November 22nd, the day before the wedding, when Marcus's phone rang. Marcus was in his suite at the Plaza, going over some last-minute details with his best man, Tyler Chen. Ironically, no relation to Olivia despite the shared last name. Tyler had been Marcus's roommate at Stanford and was now the chief operating officer at TechVista. Dude, this time tomorrow you'll be a married man, Tyler said, adjusting his tie in the mirror. How are you feeling? Honestly? Like the luckiest guy alive, Marcus replied, meaning every word. That's when his phone buzzed. Unknown number. Normally, Marcus wouldn't answer unknown numbers, especially the day before his wedding. But something made him pick up. Mr. Reynolds? The voice was female, older, tentative. Speaking. My name is Patricia Morrison. I don't know if I should be calling you, but I saw the announcement about your wedding in the Times, and I felt like I had no choice. Marcus felt a prickle of unease. I'm sorry. Do I know you? No, but you're marrying Olivia Chen tomorrow. That's right. Marcus's voice cooled. He'd dealt with plenty of crazy people over the years. Stalkers, scammers, people with bizarre conspiracy theories. Ma'am, if this is some kind of, I'm her mother. Marcus froze. Excuse me? I'm Olivia's mother, Patricia Morrison. And I think there are some things you need to know before you marry my daughter. The thing was, Olivia had told Marcus her parents were dead. Car accident when she was 19, she'd said. It was one of the reasons they'd bonded. Marcus's own father had died of cancer when Marcus was in college, and his mother had passed 2 years ago. They were both orphans, in a way, both alone in the world. Or so he'd thought. Ma'am, I think you're confused. Olivia's parents died years ago. There was a long pause on the other end of the line. Then, is that what she told you? Marcus's heart began to pound. Tyler had noticed his expression and mouthed, Everything okay? Marcus held up a finger. Mr. Reynolds, I don't know what my daughter has told you, but I'm very much alive. I live in Philadelphia, and I haven't spoken to Olivia in 8 years, since she cut me out of her life completely, changed her name, moved across the country. I only found out about the wedding because a friend saw the announcement and recognized her picture. Why would she? Marcus couldn't finish the sentence. His mind was racing. Because of what happened with her sister, Patricia said softly. And because of the accident. The real accident. The one Olivia caused. Marcus felt like the floor had dropped out from under him. I think you'd better tell me everything. Patricia Morrison's story tumbled out in a rush, like she'd been holding it in for years and couldn't stop once she'd started. Olivia wasn't an only child, as she'd told Marcus. She had a younger sister, Emma, who was 2 years younger. The girls had been close growing up in a middle-class neighborhood outside Philadelphia. Olivia had always been the golden child. Straight-A student, perfect daughter, on track to become a doctor. Emma was more rebellious, more creative, the artist of the family. When Olivia was 24 and in nursing school, Emma was 22 and engaged to her high school sweetheart, a guy named David Torres. They were planning a small wedding that summer. Emma idolized Olivia, Patricia explained, her voice thick with emotion. She wanted Olivia to be her maid of honor, wanted her approval on everything. The dress, the venue, everything. But Olivia had developed feelings for David. It started innocently, or so she claimed later. David would come over to help Emma with wedding planning, and Olivia would be there, studying. They'd talk. They connected. And eventually, 3 months before the wedding, Olivia and David began an affair. Emma found out 2 weeks before her wedding day. She discovered text messages on David's phone. The betrayal devastated her. Emma was fragile, Patricia said carefully. She'd struggled with depression since high school. This broke something in her. The night she found out, she confronted Olivia. They had a terrible fight. And then Emma got in her car and drove off. Marcus felt sick. The accident. Emma drove her car into a tree at 70 miles an hour, Patricia said, and Marcus could hear her crying now. She survived, but barely. She was in a coma for 3 weeks. When she woke up, she had severe traumatic brain injury. She lost her memory of the months leading up to the accident. She has the cognitive ability of a 12-year-old now. She'll never be independent. She lives in a care facility in Pennsylvania. Jesus, Marcus whispered. Olivia couldn't handle it, Patricia continued. The guilt ate her alive. Or maybe it was just that she couldn't face what she'd done. 6 months after the accident, she disappeared. Changed her last name from Morrison to Chen, our grandmother's maiden name. Moved to California. Blocked all of our numbers. When I tried to reach out, she sent me a letter telling me to never contact her again. That we were dead to her, just like she was dead to us. And David? Marcus asked, though part of him didn't want to know. Married someone else eventually. Has 2 kids now. He sends money for Emma's care every month, even though he doesn't have to. He's a good man who made a terrible mistake. Marcus sat down heavily on the edge of the bed. Tyler was watching him with concern, but Marcus couldn't even acknowledge him. Why are you telling me this now? Marcus asked. Because my daughter is about to marry a good man under false pretenses. Patricia said. And because I see the wedding photos in the society pages and I see how happy you both look, and I think, maybe she's changed. Maybe she's become the person she's pretending to be. But you deserve to know the truth about who she was, who she might still be. And her voice broke. And I guess part of me hoped that maybe if you knew, you'd convince her to come home, to see her sister, to be part of our family again. Emma asks about her sometimes, even though she doesn't remember why Olivia left. After Marcus hung up, he sat in silence for a full minute. Tyler finally spoke. Dude, what the hell was that? Marcus looked at his best man, this man he'd known for 20 years, and said, I need you to do something for me. I need you to verify if what I just heard is true. And I need you to do it in the next 3 hours. Tyler Chen didn't become the COO of a billion-dollar company by being slow. Within 3 hours, he'd used every resource at his disposal, private investigators, background check services, and good old-fashioned social media stalking, to verify Patricia Morrison's story. It was all true. He found Emma Morrison's Facebook page, managed by the care facility. Photos of a young woman with Olivia's eyes, sitting in a wheelchair, smiling at birthday parties and holiday celebrations. Emma Chen Torres was listed as her sister in the account's old information before the accident. He found David Torres in Pittsburgh, married with kids, exactly as Patricia had said. He found newspaper articles about the accident from 8 years ago, though Emma's name had been withheld because of privacy laws. He found Olivia Morrison's old nursing school records, before she became Olivia Chen. And he found one more thing. Evidence that Olivia had been sending anonymous payments to the care facility where Emma lived. $2,500 every month for the past 3 years. Almost exactly when she'd met Marcus. She'd been paying for her sister's care, but she'd never told anyone, never visited. Just sent money from an LLC shell company that Tyler traced back to an account Olivia had set up. When Tyler presented his findings to Marcus at 4 in the afternoon, the rehearsal dinner was set to begin in 2 hours. So what are you going to do? Tyler asked quietly. Marcus looked at the evidence spread across the coffee table in his suite. I'm going to hear her side of the story, at the rehearsal dinner, in front of everyone. Marcus, I know what it is. But she lied to me for 3 years, Tyler. About her family, about her past, about who she is. I deserve answers. And I deserve them publicly, since our entire relationship has apparently been a public performance. And if her explanation is good enough? Marcus looked at his best man with hollow eyes. I don't know if any explanation could be good enough. But I'll listen. The rehearsal dinner at the Plaza Hotel's Grand Ballroom was everything Olivia had dreamed of. Soft lighting, elegant floral arrangements, tables set with crystal and china. 100 of their closest friends and family, Marcus's colleagues and friends, Olivia's friends from the hospital and nursing school. Or at least the family that existed in the story they'd been telling. Olivia looked radiant in a simple cream dress, her dark hair swept up, her face glowing with happiness. She'd been nervous all day, texting Marcus constantly about tiny details, excited about finally becoming his wife. She had no idea what was coming. Marcus walked in 20 minutes late. The room quieted when he entered, not because of his presence. They were used to that, but because of the expression on his face. He walked straight to Olivia, who lit up when she saw him. There you are. I was getting worried. Is everything? We need to talk, Marcus said quietly. In front of everyone. Olivia's smile faltered. What? Marcus, what's going on? Marcus took the microphone from the table where the best man's toast was supposed to happen. The room went completely silent. I got an interesting phone call this morning, Marcus said, his voice carrying across the ballroom, from a woman named Patricia Morrison. Olivia, would you like to tell everyone who Patricia Morrison is? The color drained from Olivia's face. Marcus, please. Because according to her, she's your mother. Your very much alive mother. Which is interesting, since you told me both your parents died in a car accident 9 years ago. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Olivia looked like she might faint. Marcus, I can explain. Can you? Can you explain your sister Emma? Who's in a care facility in Pennsylvania because of an accident that happened after she discovered you were sleeping with her fiancé. Can you explain why you've been lying to me about your entire past for 3 years? Tears were streaming down Olivia's face now. Please, not like this. Please. But Marcus was beyond mercy. 3 years of lies had crystallized into this moment of public humiliation, and some dark part of him wanted her to feel even a fraction of the betrayal he'd felt when Patricia Morrison told him the truth. I trusted you, Marcus said, his voice breaking. I loved you. I thought you were different from everyone else who wanted something from me. But you were just better at hiding who you really were. That's not fair. Olivia's voice cracked as she stood up, shaking. The room was watching them like it was a car crash, horrible but impossible to look away from. You want to know the truth? Olivia said, loud enough for everyone to hear. Fine. Yes, I lied about my family. Yes, I had an affair with my sister's fiancé 8 years ago. And yes, my sister had an accident after she found out. And I've lived with that guilt every single day since. It destroyed me. I couldn't face my family. I couldn't face myself. So I ran. She wiped her tears, her voice stronger now. I changed my name. I moved across the country. I tried to become someone better than the person who could do something so awful. And when I met you, Marcus, I saw a chance to finally be that better person. Someone who deserved love. Someone who deserved happiness. Built on lies, Marcus said coldly. Yes, built on lies about my past. But not lies about my feelings. Not lies about who I've become. I've been sending money to my sister's care facility for 3 years. Did your investigation tell you that? I've been trying to make amends the only way I know how, even though I'm too much of a coward to face her. Even though I don't deserve her forgiveness. Olivia stepped closer to Marcus, her voice dropping to something more intimate despite the audience. I lied about my past because I was ashamed, because I didn't want you to look at me the way you're looking at me right now. Like I'm someone disgusting. Something to be discarded. And maybe I deserve that. Maybe I deserve to lose you. But don't you dare stand there and tell me that the last 3 years were a performance. Every moment I've spent with you has been real. Every time I said I loved you, I meant it. The person you fell in love with, she's real. She's who I actually am now. The ballroom was so quiet you could hear people breathing. Marcus stood there, microphone in hand, and for the first time since the phone call that morning, he felt his certainty waver. Because he could see it now. The woman he'd fallen in love with was standing in front of him. Not the woman from Patricia Morrison's story. But were they the same person? Could someone really change that much? I can't do this, Marcus said finally. The wedding is off. He set down the microphone and walked out of the ballroom. Behind him, he could hear Olivia collapse into sobs, could hear the chaos erupting among the guests. Tyler ran after him, but Marcus didn't stop until he was in his suite, door locked, sitting on the floor with his head in his hands. The wedding was canceled, but the story wasn't over. 3 months later, Marcus sat in a diner in Philadelphia, across from a woman in a wheelchair who had Olivia's eyes. Emma Morrison smiled at him, a simple, uncomplicated smile. Patricia says you're Olivia's friend. She doesn't talk about Olivia much. Makes her sad. Yeah, Marcus said softly. I'm her friend. He'd spent the 3 months since the canceled wedding trying to move on. But he couldn't stop thinking about what Olivia had said. About the person she'd become versus the person she'd been. About whether redemption was possible. So he'd done something crazy. He'd called Patricia Morrison. He'd asked to meet Emma. And he'd created a foundation, the Emma Morrison Foundation, dedicated to funding care for traumatic brain injury survivors. He hadn't spoken to Olivia since that night. But he'd heard she'd finally gone home to Philadelphia. That she'd visited Emma for the first time in 8 years. That they were slowly, carefully rebuilding something that might one day be called a relationship. Do you know my sister? Emma asked, her voice full of childlike hope. Marcus thought about the woman who'd almost been his wife. The woman who'd lied but had also loved. The woman who'd run from her worst mistake but had spent years trying to become someone who could fix it. Yeah, Marcus said, smiling despite the tears in his eyes. Yeah, I know your sister. And I think I think she's trying really hard to be someone you'd be proud of. As Marcus left the diner that afternoon, his phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number, but he knew who it was before he even opened it. Thank you for the foundation. Thank you for seeing Emma. Thank you for everything. I don't expect forgiveness, but thank you for helping me find my way home. Oh, Marcus didn't respond. Not yet, maybe not ever. But he saved the number in his contacts anyway, because everyone deserved a chance at redemption, even if it cost them everything they thought they wanted to get there. So what do you think? Was Marcus right to cancel the wedding? Did Olivia deserve a second chance? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories like this one.